We go.
You know what? As a self-elected representative of my own generation, I would like to issue a society. I am so sorry. It is a $20, 3-hour runtime, barely interactive movie that's masquerading as a video game that
I found out while I was moving and I was sick in bed and I was scrolling my phone, I found out this actually was made by some billionaire's daughter, I believe, and it was a failed movie project at first and they converted into a video game. And I was like, I found out and I was like, okay, maybe some trashy like indie studio made this and it was like backed by the government because of DEI, but it turns out it's even worse than that. The producers put out bangers before though. Yeah, but then you can make the argument that the producers, that the people, this is what their intention was, because they made games like, I believe it was Stray, and Stray was basically like a pretty good game in my opinion. I thought it was a bit short, but it was a pretty good game and it didn't have any weirdness to it.
we were a mistake.
What?
We are nostalgia addicted. That's the only explanation that I have.
Oh, absolutely. Disney adults prove this. I would say probably up to 60+% of Disney adults are millennials. 100%.
Is Mixtape a 10 out of 10? Well, I played it. What do you think?
At best, Mixtape is a 5. From an artistic perspective, I would give it a 5, but from a video game perspective, I would give it a 3 or a 4. At best, because it's not inherently just like terrible. It does like actually play how it's supposed to.
The public's
it plays itself.
To it,
exactly. That's how it's meant to be played.
Hopefully going to learn from this situation.
Did you see Xbox promoting this game? They were like, yeah, this is like the generational answer to video games. I'm like, bro, it's a fucking video game movie at best, man. They bought everyone. I'm telling you, bro. And then they gaslight you.
Is now sitting at an 85 on Metacritic, and IGN's has now become the most controversial review because, well, the last games that they gave a 10 to were Elden Ring, Stardew Valley, Baldur's Gate.
Again, I don't really have anything against the art style, so to speak. I can tell there was some effort put into it, but the characters, like the character designs are not it. They're just not.
Every single day, so
I
naturally
like the lighting
this game,
stuff.
Mixtape, it must be
the animations are pretty clean.
Mixtape launched to an eye-watering 15,000 players. Sorry, that's 1,500 players before reaching their peak of just over 2,000.
And apparently the whole time when you're playing these game sequences, none of your input actually matters.
Owned by Megan
The frame
Ellison,
rate, yeah, the frame
Larry
rate was a
Ellison
choice
is the
for
richest
sure.
person in the world that also happened to bail that studio out of bankruptcy back in 2019. It's
oh,
great
that's crazy.
Indie games these guys are definitely not going to be beating the allegations of being an industry plant. I'm going to tell you that right now.
It is an industry plant.
I played Mixtape.
Does anything happen when you fail the handshake? Does she like slap you and call you lame?
Viewers that are out there that are seal clapping over nostalgia.
No, nothing. That's crazy. They want to capitalize on the Spider-Man style. Yeah, actually, because it's pleasant to look at, but when I actually look at the gameplay, the frame rate is so weird. Again, I don't know. I feel like as an animation, it wouldn't have done that terribly, but this is just like, oh, like there's something about the gameplay that just throws me the f off.
People have had messy friendships and mixtapes, and people definitely had some weird nights where everything felt a lot bigger than it actually was. It feels like people that are pining for a past that they didn't actually live, but they had, and a version of you
is this
that
it?
honestly I think only exists in old.
Oh my god. When I first saw that on Twitter, I thought it was fake. I was like, there's no way they actually put this into a video game. It's kids kissing, and it's like I was zooming off their mouths, dude.
This entire thing doesn't even come off as true to life. It feels like somebody just watched a stack of 90s movies and just decided that's how people lived. I mean, but that kind of stuff.
And this is a rich kid's 90s too, by the way. Like, are we serious right now? Look at how much stuff they have. This is a lot of money.
These characters, it looks like most of these guys are pulled out of Dazed and Confused. I mean, the guy...
They look the same too. No different eye shapes. The facial structure's the same.
Literally,
if you ripped this, like, if you took away all the colors, I would think that they're same character.
People had even pointed out that the cassette tapes in this game don't even have the little exposed section. And this is a game that's called Mixtape.
It's someone who never lived through the 90s trying to make a game about the 90s. It's literally just nostalgia slop. You like Stranger Things at the very least, they did a lot of research. You could tell it was quite immersive when you were watching the first season, and it was like, yeah, this feels like the 80s. There was poor kids, there's kids that had stuff. There's a bunch of kids on the block. They're playing D&D. I didn't notice anything that stood out to me, and I watched like reviews on it too, and people enjoyed it. But like, this feels so corny. Oh my god, did you see that? No way. Not how you rewind, by the way. It's crazy, man. Aren't you supposed to screw it the other way?
Cassandra is arguably the most memorable character outside of her father because, well, at least she actually has something resembling a real conflict.
This unironically feels like a self-insert. Holy shit. Chibi let the game play itself too.
Wait, you can't fail the skill checks? Wait, actually? My hands are in the air. Look, I'm clapping. Alright, I'm going to the bathroom. You guys can play.
Bro, it's insane to me that people get away with this shit and then they get bailed out.
It's like, how was this guy actually portrayed
And
as a
he's supposed
villain?
to be evil?
Oh man, what a terrible father, not wanting his daughter, who's getting ready to go to college, to go and hang out with a couple of mindless losers that...
It's bad. Oh, he's the evil guy. I'm like, what the f?
Every single father that told their daughter not to hang out with me was 100% right. I was going to ruin their life.
Oh my god.
And then there's the gameplay, which honestly, would you guys... There's really not much to talk about here. Key jingling simulator. Make the character tap to a song just because.
Everything is about no consequences. If you fail, nothing happens. There's no reward structure. It's literally a movie that has like a few buttons here and there to appease and like pass the test of being like a video game. I wouldn't call this a video game. I feel like in video games you have to fail in order to get the, you know, like the satisfaction.
The character into some boxes just because.
Imagine you'd play Pragmata and then when you die, there's no consequences. You can just like reset instantly back to the same spot.
Skateboard tricks just because. The entire thing just feels like they put those elements into the game just so they could technically qualify a video game, likely because these guys wouldn't be able to cut it making a movie, which turn the music off. You just turn off.
Whoa, TPing houses. We don't do that anymore. We're not doing. We gotta do this in the game. Yeah, poggers. Vandalism pog. I mean, this is just nostalgia baiting. Yeah, people TP'd houses. I'm pretty sure, right?
Or any of these critics hop in here and say, "Oh, well, you just don't get it. You don't understand what this game is trying to do." No, look, I understand the message that this game is trying to send, and I would never try to understate.
It's a bad message. It doesn't have any coherent sense. Are drugs and heavy metal music to blame?
Connections with this game. When they played Sensitive to Light by Rainbow, I immediately got a flashback of the time my friend Mike had me listen to Ronnie James Dio.
It's because, like, millennials, for whatever reason, some millennials, they really, really want to be kids again.
And how it became the only thing that we listened to.
They feel robbed of their childhood and they don't want to be adults.
But I get it. My friends, it doesn't try to bring you any closure. It doesn't even try to say anything meaningful. It's just like, man, memories. Am I right? But
yeah, because it's a self-insert by the person who wrote this. It doesn't actually have any meaningful consequences. There's no exploration of characters. There's nothing but nostalgia tripping from licensed music, which costs so much money, by the way. I don't know if he gets into this. We're like barely halfway through the video. I saw that it costs more for this licensing in this video game than for GTA. GTA has licensed music too, and that costed less than this.
A game that is reminding you of your life is not the same thing as a game being well written. That's the part that these reviewers seem to keep blending together.
Guys, remember when you could go outside and talk to people? Look at this video game that makes you do the same thing for characters that you don't give a about.
One of these reviews, it's always the soundtrack that's being mentioned. It's the most notable thing about the game because it is the most notable thing about the game.
It's an interactive art piece. That I wouldn't call this a video game at all.
Beyond that, there is just absolutely nothing.
Have you ever been to a museum and it's like a banana and then you press a button and then the banana gets squished and that's supposed to like mean something? This is the same thing.
You also have people that are saying Mixtape is coming under fire for not having gameplay, which just isn't true.
Oh, the gameplay being like tapping your table and looking at stuff. Like, I could do that in real life. That's not gameplay.
elevated to stand beside. It is stealing valor from indie games while also being funded by some of the richest people in the world.
The FPS dropping as you're like playing the game makes me feel so weird about it.
They're watching an industry put Mixtape on a pedestal and say, this is what we need more of. This is the standard.
What is the point of this?
This is the kind of game that deserves to be remembered. And the players are looking at it and saying, no. I think what
No, like actually though, what is the point of this? You're flying around with your friends. There's nothing of value being... What? This could be like a cutscene at best. Guys, I took so much weed. I'm like flying around with my friends. It's just like being high.
Everybody can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay? Since this game is getting far more praise than it deserves. Oh,
the gamer chuds. The gamer chuds are so wrong. They just don't get it. They want like actual gameplay. Ugh, that's such right-wing chudism.
We got another victim of the culture war here.
Yeah,
no,
culture war.
That's not what this is. Stop doing that.
It guides you through it like basically like a roller coaster. Like you have to keep your hands in the seat the whole time. Yeah, walking simulators, visual novels. No, because visual novels require you to read and take your time to understand the characters. That, like The Last of Us, for example, you're essentially just like cutscene, and then maybe like you're driving around in a car and talking to a character, and then there's another cutscene, and then the cutscene finishes and you're walking around to the next point, and maybe you shoot some zombies or whatever. It's the same principle, but I would count that as a game more so than this.
Well, there's tons of games that have gotten 10s out of 10s, but they're like the pinnacle of the games industry.
I would honestly put a massive red pin in all of these studios that marked it as a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. I would put a pin in those and never ever take their shit seriously ever again.
Still, sadly enough, hold weight in the games industry, shape conversations, and also shape the future of games themselves in some cases. That's the reason why people are so upset.
If I was a game dev and I saw this video game, I would aspire to make something nothing like it and actually make a good game. That's what it should aspire you to do. That's some Nepo baby that has billions of dollars, that has daddy's money. I would want to do better than that. I think they're bought out. And even if they aren't bought out, it just shows that there's a vested interest to spite gamers.
Something I just can't stand seeing right now is how quickly the media just wants to handwave player criticism and try to shove everything under the label of a culture war. Just saw The Gamer post an article about how Mixtape is another victim of the culture war, but
it's always an fucking excuse. Like, I get death threats and nasty messages all the time. I don't fucking attribute that to everyone fucking hating me or having a bad opinion of me. I have plenty of people that like me. It's the fact that nobody's supporting your game that matters. I get attacked on Twitter and someone says something horrible about me or like completely untrue with like no actual factual basis. There's so much counter push on a person that says horrendous shit about me that like people who see that and they might not comment, they'll understand that like, maybe SmugAlana isn't so bad because at least like there's some people defending them, right? Like there's not a lot of people shitting on it. Also, can I just say this? This is a black and white image of the main character and their friend. Like, the only thing that's different is the mustache. The only reason I know it's a dude is because it's a mustache and an Adam's apple.
For a long time, reviews were supposed to be able to help players find games and also understand what games were actually worth their time. But all critics are celebrating one thing.
What's with this 10 FPS? Like, I don't even hate how it looks. It looks nice, like appealing. But the
players are looking at it like everybody.
It looks like the models were like pasted over top and then it kind of moves with the background a little bit.
Has lost their mind, or in some
like
cases,
they're kind of floating on top of it.
Now I realize
Spider-Verse, no, because Spider-Verse doesn't look like it's on 10 FPS.
Because players know that review scores are not just random personal feelings. They've never been treated that way. They've always been treated with a level of authority. They affect sales. They affect perception. Awards conversations, pulls bonuses.
Bro, look at those gameplay. I'm weaving through traffic. Oh man, I remember being 17 again. I'm a 32-year-old with friggin' back problems and shit. Yeah.
When a major outlet gives a game a perfect score, they're not just saying, oh, I had a nice time. They're placing that game in the upper tier of the medium. They're telling the audience that this belongs among the best.
They need to like finally shut down Polygon and Kotaku and IGN, because I don't see the purpose of having these outlets receiving money and getting bailed out constantly. People would rather trust a VTuber like Tenma playing this game than the fucking people at fucking IGN giving this a 10 out of 10. I saw the Tenma clip and I was like, man, she's so fucking true and real for that.
See, this is what happens. This is what happens when you don't beat up your child enough. Yeah? For days like this, I pray that kids like this get enough beating in their life.
Yeah, the beating thing is like, these kids didn't get beat enough. Like, Tenma saying it was so real, dude. No, again, and this honestly kind of like reverberates back to the point of like, this is viewed from a rich kid's lens in the 90s, or it's like a zoomer that doesn't understand what the 90s were like, and they just like try to view it through a lens that doesn't exist.
Because these critics are no longer representing the audience. And if this industry is going to continue to follow their taste, their scores...
They're just literally slurping all over the person, the studios. I can't believe this is the same studio or whatever that made Stray, because Stray was so wholesome and like the gameplay was fun. There was like an underlying like cute little story. It wasn't anything super deep. It was just you playing through the game as a cat and trying to find your way home. It was like 2-3 hours. It was short, sure, but like I got a lot of fun out of that game. All the Stray devs quit. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
And their failure. I think that right now we're at a very real turning point in the gaming community, and it's crossing over everything. I think it's journalism, reviews, players, content creators, hell, even just the way that people are talking about games. You have
and this stupid analogy to like, bro, they're flying because they're high, bro. Do you guys remember smoking weed for the first time when you're like 17, bro? It feels like you're flying, and then you talk to your friend and it feels like you're like connected.
One side of the conversation games through those principles while completely replacing the audience's expectations, because they are not like the audience.
Oh my God. There's like... Oh, I played through Misa Day, and at least with Misa Day, like, there's actual points to figuring out puzzles. There's no, like, actual reason for this shit. Like, this is the gameplay.